Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So yeah, I'm cranking out 2 videos today. Today we are going to, is the long awaited surgery details and update. Y'all see me looking up, it's because of my mirror. I keep looking up instead of there, so pay me no mind. March 27th of this year, I had surgery. And I had 3 procedures done at one time. FYI, this is a for girls only video, a lot of TMI, so for girls only. I had 3 procedures done at one time. I had an endometrial ablation, an abdominal laparoscopic procedure for endometriosis, and a cystoscope in my bladder. Because, as you all know, I have endometriosis, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and some other stuff. So, yes, no, no. Sorry, guys, she's making me something to eat. So I had the 3 procedures done. I went in, you know, the night before you scrub your skin and all that other stuff. Went in, I was pleasantly surprised because, as you all know, I go to Grady. Y'all know me and Grady don't always get along. And the Women's Surgery Center wing was amazing. I was pleasantly surprised. It was top-notch, state of technology, just completely state of the art. Just, oh my God, I was not expecting that. They were so nice. They were so compassionate and empathetic. The nurses were on it. The registry was on it. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. So when I went into surgery, I wasn't nervous. I had some little nervousness like 2 days before, because this is like the first surgery I've had without my mom and all that. And I was kind of nervous, but I prayed about that thing and I got peace in the middle of the night like that. That Tuesday night before my surgery or whatever, I was like, let's do this. I'm ready. We get to the hospital. I'm greeted by anesthesia and all these other people, and they're telling me what they're going to do. And in walks my wonderful doctor, who can do no wrong in my eyes. And I will upload a picture of her. In walks my wonderful doctor. She was like, you ready? I was like, let's do this, because I'm ready to live again. I'm ready to get this endometriosis under control, this bleeding under control. Let's do this. Alright, they took me back. Surgery was a breeze. Hour, 2 hours, something like that. Had a little problem with recovery, waking me up and getting the pain under control. And eventually they did get it under control and they let me come home. Recovery. Very painful. It was more painful than my first abdominal laparoscopy, but keep in mind I had 3 procedures done at one time. Recovery, I am now 5 weeks, 6 weeks as of yesterday, post-surgery. And recovery has not been what I thought it would be. When we read these blogs and we go online and we research and all this other stuff, sometimes you can get an idea in your head, and then when your situation doesn't pan out to be like what you created in your head, you can get frustrated or overwhelmed. Now, one thing I did experience was a hormonal blitz. And I was figuring like they really didn't do hormonal things to me. They kind of moved around stuff. But, you know, like my doctor explained, whenever they enter the body, that's trauma. Everything goes crazy. So I had like 2 weeks of crying and depression and anxiety and hopelessness. I mean, my hormones were all over the place. And my doctor explained to me it's a hormonal blitz. On top of mama passed away and all this other stuff. So it's like you done had surgery and all this other stuff, and it just all just, hormones just went crazy. I got past that. I did get on a new medication. I went to my psychiatrist after surgery. She put a halt to everything. I was complete bed rest, no nothing, couldn't do nothing, no activities, no nothing, just stay home, rest. She gave me some techniques and stuff like that. And so I've been doing that. Won't say I've just stayed in bed because after I had my 3-week post-op, let me talk about the ablation. The ablation, she took out 90%, 85% of my uterus is gone. It's nothing but a thin sheet of uterus there. And the purpose of the ablation is to slow down my uterine bleeding because my bleeding was so bad. They say when you have a period, you're supposed to lose 1 to 2 teaspoons of blood. I was losing cups. So it was bad. I'm anemic. So she just did the NovaSure thermally and just got rid of my uterus as much as she could. Okay, so recovery from that, you have a watery, bloody discharge. I didn't know that because in my reading, I either read over it or forgot. And I had some experiences where I was out and water and blood just started pouring down my leg. It was ugly. And because I was in process of my period starting, when I had the ablation, I had a period immediately after surgery. Like I had surgery on the 27th, the 29th, I had a period. But I didn't recognize it as a period because there was no flow. There was no flow to the period. But keep in mind, I had an endometrial, I had an ablation, okay? So it was no flow. So I'm thinking, okay, it was excruciatingly painful, but again, I had just had surgery. So of course it's going to be painful. Okay, so I get to 3 weeks post-op. She's like, I think it's gonna work. We're gonna put you on these medicines and all this other stuff. And you know, I think this is gonna work. And I'm crying to her like, I'm still bleeding. It's 3 weeks later. I'm still bleeding, not flowing, but spotting. I thought it wouldn't be like this. I mean, other women said I had an ablation. I got up the next day and I was da da da. She was like, everybody's different. You can't go off of other people's experiences, which is true. Well, I had an appointment on May 14th. Let's just say headliner, the surgery, the ablation, epic fail. I bled all over. What? What? Recording. Recording. Leave it on the step. I come. Sorry, guys. So, I had an appointment on May 14th. That was my 5-week post-op checkup. I bled all over her office. Blood just pouring, just pouring, just pouring. I'm hysterical. I'm crying. I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? I'm a mutant. Nothing works. Da 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 da. Needless to say, I was hysterical because I was bleeding like I had bled prior to having the ablation. Horrible. We'll come back to that. Remember, I told you she did a cystoscope, which is when she went in my bladder to look, make sure that everything was okay in my bladder and nothing was going on in my bladder. Well, when she went into my bladder, she found that I have a disease called interstitial cystitis, which is a very debilitatingly painful disease. Men and women have it, but women more so than men. And by me having interstitial cystitis, endometriosis, I am in debilitating pain. Also, by the interstitial cystitis, I'm going to call it IC because there's a lot to say. Being in my bladder so long and nobody found it, it's out of control. She was like, your bladder is yucky, 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 yucky. So I was like, what do you mean? Oh my God, out of all the procedures I've had for endometriosis in this 10-year plus journey, no one has ever looked in my bladder. I never even thought to ask for anybody to look at my bladder. And for her to tell me that, it was a relief, but it was devastating too. because she was saying, or she found, that the interstitial cystitis is more aggressive now than my endometriosis. Thank God I had no new endo lesions growing or tripping. So she took care of what was there. She could see what my other doctor did. But the biggest problem was the IC. So now I am on a journey of learning about IC, learning what foods to stay away from, learning what trigger flare-ups. I am on Elmaron. I am on another medication. And it was a shock, but it made sense, because I would have these episodes where I would urinate frequently, and I thought it was endometriosis doing something crazy. You know, I already lost my gallbladder to endo and all this other stuff, so I'm just thinking that it's endometriosis doing something crazy. Well, no, I actually have a disease in my bladder, and it's gross looking. My bladder is all red and inflamed, and I have to get copies of the pictures, and I may share them, I may not. You know, my uterus is, you know. So for the bleeding, she gave me an injection. Hopefully the injection is going to stop the bleeding, because if the bleeding doesn't stop, then I have to have a hysterectomy. I do not want a hysterectomy at all. The bleeding has slowed down, but it has not stopped. It has its peaks and valleys depending on what I'm doing. I had a very active day yesterday, so when the bleeding had slowed down, it began to pick back up. So it has slowed down today. I'm trying to stay still as much as possible so that it will just go away. I am tired of bleeding. I don't have no desire to have no more kids. I'm good with what I got. They drive me crazy. I'm good with what I got. I'm grateful for what I have. I don't have a desire to have any children. So why do I need to bleed? So I took the injection, and hopefully it's going to slow down the bleeding. And life for me will get normal again. My normal. Not necessarily your normal, but my normal. So as of now, I have endometriosis. I have interstitial cystitis. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And some other stuff that's not related to my girl parts going on. How do I cope? I get up every day and I put one foot in front of the other. I pray. I cry. I scream. Whatever I need to do to get me through that day, that's what I do. But at the end of the day, I know, and I tell myself every day, it could be worse. Do I have to frequently urinate a lot? Hell yes. Does sex hurt? Hell yes. Do I want to have sex all night long like I used to, all 13 hunt? Baby, what? Hell yes, I do. But you know what? You find a way to do what you want to do. You do it differently. It's a new beginning for me. The person that I was prior to these diseases, she's gone. I don't even want her back, because I am mature. I am more empathetic. I was already empathetic, but I love this version that I am, including the things that I battle, because they make me who I am. So I'm not crying in my milk. I'm not depressed. Do I battle depression? Yes. And I'm going to make a video about depression. Yes. Anxiety? Yes, I do. But you know what? Every morning, I get up, I pray, I reach over to my table, I swallow them pills, I put one foot in front of the other one, and I keep on going. Because at the end of the day, I have two options. I can either live or I can die. And I got kids and a family to live for. And death is not for me. God promised me long life. 38 ain't long life. So, two options. Live or die. It's all up to me, and it's all up to you. That's my surgery update. I will be coming to you all with other updates about the surgery, explaining more about IC and what it is and how it affects me and all that good stuff, but that'll be done during Health Chat Week. So until then, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and as always, be amazing. Bye.